welcome to tonight's Look Ahead. I'm Heather Janino with Huebner Byers and Millar. I'm one of the co-chairs of the committee, along with Michelle Bass of Wolfson Bolton. We have a few other members on here tonight. I'd just like to take a moment to introduce some of them that are here or not here and unable to join. John Bollinger of the Bowman Law Firm is our education director for this year and is hard at work at planning our annual spring meeting panel. Michael Miller of the Semrad Law Firm is our membership relations director. Carlene Archer is our newsletter editor. Hannah Hutman of Hoover Penrod is our special projects leader, and Jeff Frazier of Albertary Law serves as our special projects leader and our communications director. Due to some last minute scheduling conflicts, some of our leadership team members are unable to be here tonight, but I know they wish they were here. We do have some exciting things coming up this spring. As we start the new year, Carlene is already fast at work at putting together our first newsletter that is set to be published in February. So please be on the lookout for that. As Tim said, we are always our committee is also always looking for authors as well. If you have an idea you'd like to write about, please feel free to reach out to Carlene if you need some suggestions and of what to write about. If you want to write an article, then please contact us and we'd be happy to give you some suggestions and fit you into our newsletter schedule. If you need assistance in reaching out to Carlene, just navigate to the Consumer Bankruptcy Committee page and look under the leadership tab and you can find all of her contact information there. Also, our special projects leaders, Hannah and Jeff, are planning a webinar on student loans. While the topic of student loans has been a hot topic for some time now, the goal of this webinar will be to provide a high-level overview of the student loan adversary proceeding guidance from the DOJ and Department of Education, and more of a practical application of that new process. And I can turn it over to Jeff if he wants to talk about some of the other ideas for this year.
Thank you, Heather. Absolutely. Heather, you just touched on it. One of our main focuses that we're going to try to incorporate with communication to ABI is student loan issue. This is a hot topic. It was touched on quite a bit at the CPEX conference, and kind of as a follow-up to that conversation and the great conversation that it's having, specifically with the new guidance by the DOJ, we're seeking to have a webinar on student loan issues to discuss those new guidelines and how the practical implications with the courts, how different entities in the bankruptcy process will handle the student loan issue will come into play. We're targeting the last week of February, either the 27th or 28th. Look out for publication on that particular issue, as well as our panelists that will be joining us. And as far as other hot topics that we're looking to keep an eye on in the consumer world in 2023 is we know that COVID played quite an impacting role on the bankruptcy process over the past 2.5 years, so much so that Congress implemented their own new provision, 1329D, which extended which gave debtors the ability to extend plans beyond 60 months all the way over to 84 months. However, in March of 2022, Congress sunset that particular provision, and at the tail end of the tail end of 2022, a number of courts addressed the issue of, can a debtor modify a plan that when they obtained a previous extension pursuant to 1322D, which is now expired. And a number of those cases are saying that it's an impermissible modification under 1329C because 1329D is no longer operable. So that's a consumer issue that we're looking to keep track of as the year materializes. And that's all we have on my end. Michelle or Heather, I'll give the mic back to you.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Michelle Bass. I'm the other co-chair, along with Heather, of the Consumer Committee. I did also want to bring up another hot topic that we're going to be addressing on our annual spring meeting panel. We're also partnering for another panel with the Healthcare Committee. And But we thought this would be an interesting pairing. Healthcare, which typically includes a lot of big business commercial attorneys who are representing debtor healthcare systems, creditors attorneys representing payors, and consumers, of course, are the product, the individuals who are receiving the healthcare from these systems. And our topic for this panel is a bankruptcy crisis hiding in plain sight, the juxtaposition of failing healthcare systems with consumer patients driven to bankruptcy by medical debt. What is the bankruptcy system going to do, and will it be able to handle this dual surge of potential bankruptcies, where we've got individuals who are overwhelmed with medical debt, but we have healthcare systems that are also overwhelmed with debt and unable to service the individuals? And is our bankruptcy court system prepared for that? So that's something that we're looking forward to presenting on with the healthcare committee. Some of our learning goals are, our learning objectives include exploring the industry trends and commonalities between these two parallel bankruptcy practices, discussing and debating what will happen when both of these groups overwhelm the bankruptcy system, which is something that we're anticipating, and for practitioners to gain an understanding of the different challenges that healthcare debtors, consumer debtors, and insurance payors face in these challenging times. So we hope to see you at annual spring meeting, and please come attend this informative and interesting panel. We are also just looking forward to wrapping up the year strong with several more newsletters. As Heather mentioned, if anyone is ever interested in any topics that pertain to consumer issues, please reach out to Carlene Archer. Her contact information is on our webpage. Other hot topics that I would foresee, I think foreclosures are ticking up. I know here in Michigan, I've seen a lot of residential foreclosures coming through, and our Chapter 13 cases are rising as a result of that. So lots to do and many individuals to help, and we've had a great year and looking forward to a great finish with the annual spring meeting. Heather, anything else from our end?
Michelle, I think you covered a lot of it. The only other thing I wanted to add is just something to keep on the radar for consumer practitioners are potential amendments to Rule 3002.1. I know that there were proposed amendments and that they were kind of tabled while the Rules Committee goes back and reworks those, but that's something to also be on the lookout for in the coming year.